I'm a sucker for sequels. I love a good sequel. With the origin story out of the way, this is where we can take the character to the next level. And this movie just disappointed. Iron Man 2 is again directed by Jon Favreau. Has Robert Downey Jr. returning as Tony Stark, Gwyneth Paltrow back as Pepper Potts, also starring Don Cheadle for the very first time as Rhodes, Jon Favreau himself, Mickey Rourke, and Sam Rockwell. Now, Iron Man 2 takes place sometime after the events of the first Iron Man. Now everyone knows who Tony Stark really is. They know that he puts on this suit and saves the world and shit. However, there are some forces that want to kill him. There is this guy, played by Mickey Rourke, that has a very dark past which ties into Tony Stark's father, who just wants to kill him. There also is another guy, played by Sam Rockwell, who views Tony Stark as his biggest competitor and also tries to run in his parade. In addition to that, Tony Stark gets mentally ill and everything around him just seems to crumble apart. Now, as you might have guessed from my introduction, I didn't necessarily like this movie. Let me get the positives out of the way. First of all, Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. again, he does an amazing job. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark at this point. He's a playboy, philanthropist, and genius, like he calls himself. And he really sells that. And in the first act, you're like, yeah, well, this is everything I love about Iron Man. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper. I bought her relationship with Tony Stark because she loves the guy, but she also sees his very self-destructive side in this movie. Don Cheadle as Rhodes, I actually prefer to Terrence Howard. And now let's get to Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke is probably one of the most generic villains I have ever seen in a movie. He is essentially, give me my beard. Give me my beard. I want to have my beard. And I want to kill Iron Man because I'm Russian and I'm evil. Sam Rockwell, on the other hand, he actually has the best dialogue in the entire movie. He is just amazingly fun to watch. The entire plot of the movie is just so depressing and not fitting. I mean, it actually makes you feel bad for Iron Man because he is self-destructive. He knows that he's going to die, so he drinks a lot. He takes a piss in the Iron Man suit. And he just mopes around, and at one point you're like, chill the fuck out, do something. Do not harass us with that bullshit anymore. The action is also not that good, to be honest. I mean, there is a killer action scene by the end of the movie, but it's only like 5 minutes long. It doesn't make up for the first, what is it, like 2 hours piece of shit storyline. What I also don't like about the movie is the fact that it is really convoluted and cluttered. There's so many different plot lines. There's evil Russian guy who wants to take revenge on Tony Stark. There is evil corporate guy who wants to destroy Tony Stark. There is an illness that slowly starts killing Tony Stark. Then there is Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury for the very first time, who wants to recruit him for the Avengers Initiative. There is Scarlett Johansson's character as Black Widow. Moment of silence. My lord, that woman is hot. But that having been said, I mean, she's only in the movie to be hot and kick ass in like a 3-minute long scene probably. Like I said, since this movie has too many plot lines, but not enough time to follow them through thoroughly, it just feels like another setup film, and that is what differentiates this movie a lot from the first one. The first one was a very great standalone movie. This one just feels like, okay, let's throw in as many Avengers references as possible and we have our sequel. Sometimes the dialogue works perfectly and sometimes it happens simultaneously and you don't even know who to listen to. This movie definitely takes a step back from Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. I gotta say, Iron Man 2 is entertaining enough. You can find some enjoyment in it. I mean, especially in the first act, and all these Sam Rockwell elements are great. Scarlett Johansson is great to look at, and Samuel L. Jackson just always has a great on-screen presence. Apart from that, there is just too much going on in this movie to be dealt with. The post-credit scene, however, sets up the next Marvel movie, which I'm happy to talk about very soon. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe.